You want to be one of the cool guys? Buy my merch.
What's up, fight fans? UFC is back with another pay-per-view card. UFC 314 in Miami, which sucks. I've always kind of liked the idea to visit Miami. Would be fun. Would be fun to go down there. Anyway, they have a pay-per-view. Volkanovski is fighting for the title against Diego Lopes. Yep, after Ilia Topuria. If you've been living under a rock, then you don't know this, but Topuria vacated the belt. Volk and Lopes are fighting to unify the belt, and that's what's happening. It's a good card. We're going to talk about that later. There's a lot of really good featherweight matchups throughout the card. A lot of good fights as well, like non-featherweights. There's some good fights. You know, on the prelim card, you have. I'm gonna make it the almighty prelim. I haven't done a deep breakdown on it, but like you got Dan Ige fighting Sean Woodson, who is a very long, lanky featherweight, and then you got Dan Ige, who's like a short, stocky, overhand, heavy-handed, good cardio, tough as fuck, featherweight. So that's some good fights. You got Jim Miller, I think he has multiple records in the UFC for like most fights and most finishes, all these things. Fighting the young Chase Hooper. So they got each end of the spectrum there. You got the old guy versus the young guy. But you got Darren Elkins is fighting Julian Erosa. And that's a fun fight. Yeah, I haven't done any deep breakdowns on those because obviously there's a couple of fights on the main card. A few fights on the main card that we will be talking about. I was really looking forward to Prates versus Jeff Neal. But Prates is now fighting Ian Gary on the headline in Kansas City. Probably a funner fight, I'd say. I'm more interested in that fight than Prates, Jeff Neal. Really nice style, really fun to watch. And that's, fair play to Ian Gary for stepping up and taking that on like shortish notice. So, very cool. You got Nikita Krylov is fighting Dominic Reyes. That should be fun. First fight we're going to talk about. Yeah, it kind of sucks. The fight doesn't suck, but it's a good fight. It's Yair Rodriguez is fighting Patricio Pitbull in his UFC debut. I say it sucks because I was supposed to be fighting Yair, and then obviously this injury has taken a lot longer than I was hoping or would be hoping for. And it's still taking longer than I hoped. Anyway, not about me. Yep, Patricio Pitbull, the guy is a veteran. He's a bit older in the game. He's fought everywhere. He's got some big wins. He's got a knockout win over Chandler. He's got... he's been fighting all the elites outside the UFC. Like, he's beat a lot of really, really top guys, had belts all over the place. But he also has a whole load of losses, been knocked out and all these things himself. A couple things off the bat about him. He has a really good guillotine. He likes calf kicks. Nice overhand right. Doesn't move like super well. And he's super short. When you see him face off with Michael Chandler, Chandler's a short ass and he's, Chandler's, when Chandler's looking down on you, you're short. And I'm not saying that as a negative for him. I'm just saying he is a very short fella, which is awkward. Sometimes you fight a guy that's short, stocky. The punches come from unfamiliar angles. Your head's always a bit high, so you're always kind of up in the air. Literally, you could have your chin down, but it's up in the air for the shorter man. That's probably how he sets up a lot of his nice right hands. He loops over. I feel like he's too open. He's there. He's been hurt and he's been finished with shots before. And I don't know if his game plan would be to pressure Yair, which is a tough one because Yair's he's a real, he's a landmine. You get too close, there's an elbow or knee coming up. You rush in to take him down. He's throwing subs up real quick. But at the same note, if you don't get close enough, he's throwing long kicks and scissor kicks, back kicks, jumping, everything. He's throwing that, so you can't stay at range with him. So you need to be closing the distance there. Just from what I've seen of Patricio, just feel like Yair is going to eat him up with kicks. You never know with Yair, he's hit and miss. Sometimes he looks like untouchable, then other times he just kind of turns up and so. But yeah, I just feel like calf kicks, body kicks, fucking head kicks, knees, keep him at range, just sting him with everything. Patricio, like I say, he's short, so it's going to be tough for him to get close if Yair wants to just keep him at bay with side kicks. The calf kick looks like it's all there all night. Kind of doesn't protect his body great either. He's kind of a little bit open and has that sort of wider guard, and then just fights often heavy on his feet. I just feel like Yair's going to just kick him to pieces. But he's very good. He's a veteran. He's got a lot of good finishes. beat a lot of top guys. He's got a knockout, like I said. He's got a knockout win over Chandler, who's very good, obviously. Again, you come to the UFC and the testing's a lot more rigorous and all these things. Things change, but you never know also how long you've been in that pool for your debut fight. I don't think it's been 6 months, so that's always an interesting point. Not accusing anyone of anything at all. I'm just saying, like, when you're coming from other leagues and you know those things are more and more popular in other leagues that don't have a rigorous testing protocol. I mean, there's guys in the UFC cheating too, so I'm sure people that are in a non-tested sort of thing. I know there is tested, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, onwards. I think Yair is gonna chew him apart with kicks. That is my prediction. Then we have the next featherweight matchup that everyone is talking around. Lower in the rankings, however, it's a more high-profile fight, so it gets a high-profile spot in the card. You got Bryce Mitchell fighting the surgeon Jean. I don't know if it's Jean or Jean Silva. He's very good. You know, I've seen some very funny clips of him hanging off the cage and barking and shit. You know, other than that stuff, he's very good. One thing all the fighting nerds do, they're all very well balanced. They're very good at the gamesmanship. You know, like you see him against Charles Jourdain. He's doing the basketball thing. He's pointing at him. He's like laughing, and every time something happens, he shakes your hands, taps your hands. It's almost like a belittling you in the fight, you know. You're sparring with someone you sort of deem as like less than yourself, and they're no threat. But they land a good shot. And you're like, oh, well done. You know, it's kind of one of those things. I don't think Bryce is gonna play into those things too much. I think Bryce is a nice guy. He's got some mad ideas on things, but I feel like when he's fighting, he's gonna, he's not gonna play into those things. He knows what he's got to do. The guy's legit. I think people forget because he says some crazy shit that people forget he's legit. You know, he's up there. He's fought a lot of the best guys. I know he got sparked out by Emmett on a short notice one, but I will say that can happen to anyone. Yeah, like. I mean, especially when you're fighting Emmett, right? That can happen. But yeah, one thing, if we're going to talk tactics, and I'm talking about their personalities and what they do, but like Silva always fights kind of like on his back leg. They're very good at this. So, you know, like Jourdain was throwing like naked kicks at him and they all missing. He's very good at like sort of slipping back and patiently sort of making you miss. Then he pressures, kind of like McGregor used to do. He was a counter fighter, but he was also a pressure fighter. And when you can combine the two and like perfect that game, that's hard. You know, a guy that's always in your face, but he's countering you. Like they make you force a throw, they make you force to shoot a shit shot, and they make you just being there in front of you, and you can't hit them, but like they're there. You know, that's something Ruffy does as well. Really good. He's very heavy on the pressure. He's always there. There's always like a hand feint. There's always something, the hip feint, hand feint. You know, then you're reacting more than actually acting. And then before you know it, the guys are walking you down and they're nose to nose. And you're still thinking about what they're doing, and now they get a kill shot. This is one hard thing for me. He fights a lot on his back foot so he can slip out. Maybe it was just for that fight, but I've seen it a lot. He's very sort of drifts out of distance. He's very good with the distance control. I just feel like if he sits on his back foot and leaves his lead leg heavy, that's going to be a nice invitation for someone like Bryce Mitchell to grab a leg and drag you down. The fact he got taken down a little bit, granted he didn't get like controlled by Jourdain, but he did get taken down by Jourdain. Bryce Mitchell is, no disrespect to Jourdain, but Bryce Mitchell is levels above him in the wrestling and the grappling. So unless that aspect of his game is improved, I can't see Bryce Mitchell not taking him down. You know, I feel Bryce Mitchell will score takedowns. It's just how he gets up. You know, the standing things are always the problem. The fights always start standing, so I can imagine Silva's going to just chase him down. He's going to taunt him. He's going to put his hands out. He's going to point in the corners. He's going to pressure. He's going to make him miss, tag him. I see that, but just how he deals with the shots. Unless, I will say, for Bryce, he got knocked out by Emmett. He was doing a lot of things wrong. Circling with his chin up in the air. Kind of circled into the right with his chin way up in the air. Maybe didn't strategize, didn't plan. But Emmett is a very awkward guy to plan for. He can knock you out with both hands. He's short, stocky, very hard to shoot on. He makes up great range and moves well. Silva moves well. He slides in and out on rails. Balance is good. Straight lines. But like, I think it would be easier for someone like Bryce to take him down. And also Bryce Mitchell for Kron Gracie in his last one, which is like a dream matchup after getting knocked out. You know, the guy's going to pull guard and scoot at you. You go from fighting a scary punch, you get knocked out, you know, what better way to get over the fear of getting hit again and like testing your chin than fighting someone who's going to butt scoot at you. So you still don't know if Bryce Mitchell is still going to be cagey from that knockout, because Silva, from what I've seen, he has some very heavy hands and like very, kicks, knees, all those things, flying knees. He's going to do sliding knee soccer kicks and stuff. Elbows look deadly. I won't give out a prediction on it. I just feel like Bryce Mitchell will take him down. It's just what happens after that. If it stays on the feet, not that Bryce Mitchell is terrible on the feet, but I just feel like Silva is much better on the feet, and like those taunting, those gamesmanship, I think that sort of stuff will take over. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that one, because I'm torn. I don't really know. Next up, co-main event, you have Michael Chandler fighting Paddy Pimblett. This is a real test. Obviously Bobby Green is a test, and he flew for it. Paddy flew for it. But he's one of those guys that everyone's always going to say, oh yeah, but he hasn't proven anything till he fights this guy. Yeah, but this guy's that. And I'm sure if he runs through Chandler, people are going to say, yeah, but Chandler sucks. Like that is how it's going to go. But like, if he beats Chandler, he's already legit. Paddy's already legit. But if he beats Chandler, like, he solidifies himself as in that title talk and in that conversation of people that should be fighting for the title. I know people got blah blah blah, but a lot of guys got wins over Chandler and have fought for the title. So I'm not saying directly after this, but he should be in that position. The jokes about Chandler, everyone always said he has 0 fight IQ. He is a pure entertainer. The guy comes out and it's like he has a game plan, and then it all goes out the window, and he's just like, he's doing a backflip, he's like sticking his fingers up your nose, he's in your gloves, he's pulling your hair, he's eye poking you, he's trying to punch you in the back of the head. I think he's a dirty fighter. The guy's a dirty fighter, but like, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. He ain't gonna fight clean. You just have to know he's doing whatever to win. He's maybe has a game plan there, but he'll get desperate to win. He'll do some mad shit. He's gonna swing. As soon as you hit him with a jab, he's starting plant his feet and throw overhands, and yeah, muscle Mike. I think Paddy Pimblett can come in with a nice game plan here. I'd like to see him tuck his chin. The Scousers do, like, I don't know what it is. Till used to do it. Paddy does it a lot. They sort of like hang their chin in the air, hands down. It's scary. They got faith in it. Sort of goad you in with their hands all over the place. But Paddy's so long, he's so lanky, he can throw kicks from anywhere. He can, teeps, kicks, hands down, and kind of just like snap the kicks. I think he's very flexible, very dexterous. If he's got his cardio in check, which I hope so. Is that a free? I think it's a free rounder. He did get tired in the last round against Ferguson. Yeah, just a guy like Chandler isn't going to go away. He is not. If you get tired, he's going to swarm on you. So if you're going to lose energy, you're going to have to finish him, because he's going to keep coming, and he's going to give 110% to the last belt. I will say that for Chandler. He has 0 IQ, but he has 100% heart. He's dirty. He's going to poke you in the eyes and pull your hair, like I said. But he's going to try everything to win, and he's not going to quit. I feel like Paddy's grappling will be better. Chandler has good wrestling, but like, do I think his jiu-jitsu is on the same level? No, I don't. I think Paddy's jiu-jitsu sort of usurps his wrestling ability. So like, if Chandler takes Paddy down, it's a problem for him. If he stays standing and doesn't close the distance, Paddy's going to snap kicks and flick him and keep it arranged and beat him up. I honestly think Paddy's going to finish him. I think there's going to, maybe Paddy hurts him on the feet, Chandler rushes in, Paddy secures a triangle on the rush. That's it. So Paddy hits him with something, Chandler rushes in for a takedown, gets the takedown, Paddy scores a triangle. That's how I'm calling it. Anyway, we have the main event, the featherweight title, my division, the featherweight title coming up. We have Diego Lopes. He's streamlined the fight for the title. The guy's been smashing it. He's been busy. He's been fighting whoever he's told to. But yeah, he's doing great. He's got the finishes and got the wins, and called for it, asked for it, got it. He is fighting Volkanovski, one of the featherweight greats. I don't know if he's the featherweight great, but his nickname is the Great, so fair play. He's very good. Volk is very good. If he retired before that Islam knockout and didn't take that short notice fight unnecessarily, I feel like people would be talking a lot different about him than they are now. Like, he's washed past it. I don't think there's too many people saying that, actually, to say that. But that is the general chit chat. He's a little bit, his career, he's got more, the last days of his career are coming, what I mean? Like, the last few fights are in front of him. I feel like he can do well. I'm just worried about his confidence after 2 losses back to back. He got knocked out. He got knocked out twice, and like bad. He got put out of a head kick, then he got put out of a Nice shot by Topuria. Yeah, if he can overcome that, just put that in the back of his head and forget about it, I feel like you're going to see a really good Volk. I think you're going to see a very dangerous, very confident Volk if he can get like a round in where he's landing good shots, maybe even taking some shots to build that confidence. The only problem is it's a good fight for Lopes. The first 2 rounds are a good fight for Lopes because Lopes is a finisher. He doesn't fight as if there's 5 rounds or 3 rounds. He fights to finish in every moment. He wants to finish wherever it comes. Obviously you have an energy bar in a fight, like there's an invisible energy bar. He doesn't ever look at his. You know what I mean? He just goes. He goes to finish. He fights to kill. Kill or be killed. It's very exciting. It's very entertaining. But we have seen him in 3-round fights where he's fighting a short notice opponent and he has got tired. Not the short notice opponent like Danny gave with the 3rd round. So I will say the first 2 rounds, Lopes has got to put it on him. Like Lopes has got to come out guns blazing and try and finish. And I don't doubt he will. Not that he will finish, but I don't doubt he will come out guns blazing. He's got heavy hands. He's rangy. He's long. Submissions are very good. Takedowns are probably lacking, so I couldn't imagine. Unless he hurts Volk, drops him and gets a sub. But I think he needs to finish in the first 2 rounds. If he doesn't finish in the first 2 rounds, I do not see him winning a decision. I think if you look at a lot of his fights, 3rd round, he hasn't done great in the 3rd round. Even the ones he's sort of gone through and done great or whatever, like first 2 rounds, he's battered the guy. In the 3rd round, he's got tired. You cannot get tired against a guy like Volk. And Volk gets past those first 2 rounds where you'll come out guns blazing. Round 3, 4, and 5. He's going to have his confidence back. He's taking a couple of shots. Your energy bar's going down. He's still surging. He's just warming up and he's getting fitter and fitter. My heart says Volk. I think Volk wins. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. I watched some of his YouTube channel. Looks in fantastic shape. Sometimes you see a guy that looks like shit though and he's in the best shape of his life. But, he looks good. He looks good. The training's good. Their team are very good. Always planning. And they're always going to be 100% fit and 100% well trained in their game plans, so they're going to be well prepared. Covered all bases. They got Craig Jones there, a fantastic grappler. I know in like jiu-jitsu terms he's not the best ever, whatever, but like he is very, very good in MMA terms. It's a very good guy to have in your corner. I think he's going to be ready for anything. Can he weather that first 2 rounds? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm torn on it. Ultimately, I think Volk wins. I think overall, if I had to bet, or if I was allowed to bet, I'd think Volk would win. But the first 2 rounds, you do not know what you're going to get. He's been hurt. He's been knocked out the last couple of fights. His confidence is an all-time low, and he's got a surging, very confident, very dangerous 2-round fighter. He's got a very dangerous 2-round fighter in front of him. Lopes is always looking to finish, and he's always sniffing it out. So we'll see. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know the other fights. I know I didn't really do like deep breakdowns. I kind of just like talked about the personality and their traits, but like sometimes it's important, sometimes you got a guy who's like a gamer and does all that gamesmanship and hands down and torture. Someone like McGregor, he does all that shit, and you got another guy who's a bit shy and timid, and maybe that plays on him and makes him crumble. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Get yourself some Almighty merch stuff. We've got the glizzies in navy. We've got a few in white. Got some green hoodies that look pretty sick. We've got some UFO shirts. We've got some other stuff. almightymerch.co.co. Get you some. Please like, please subscribe. Follow the Almighty Merch page on Instagram, because that's where I post most of the shit of like marketing stuff and giveaways and all that. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. Almighty socks coming soon to the channel. 3 feet, but they're in socks, so it's alright.